Good day. It's the 10th, 14th, 2016. Again. Well, let's talk about family and how it's slowly disappeared, and family violence under the definition of the Department of Justice over the last 16 years plus. It's all in there. All my family, you being sent out. Birth mother, Christine Ann Bushbam Lai, all their names. Birth father, Ross Joseph Francis Bame. His new wife, after divorce when I was 4 years old, many years later. Mickey, real name Rosemary McCrae Bohm. And my stepdad, who adopted me at 11 years old, came into my life at about 7 or 8. Dave Lai Quinfa. And brothers, Shane Ryan Bohm Lai, Blair Richard McCrae Bohm, and Tara Mickey McCrae Bohm. That's my family other than uncles Ken Bush, Buddy Ewan, and Annie Kim, who passed away years ago, and cousins affiliated by that. Long and short of it, family violence, let's say neglect, one gets more than the other, and so forth. Like, example, which is true, Shane getting hockey equipment, hockey sticks, skates sharpened, tape, and equipment, let's say, and extra skate time, and hockey schools all the time. Never went anywhere. No money for Ross to ever have nothing in that household. Never having the proper proteins put on the foods as well. Making them work at a young age doing newspapers in minus 50 or 40, whatever it was in Red Deer, Alberta, to plus 30 weather over a kilometer or so. Yelling at them, screaming at them, and calling them little bastards, and breaking wooden spoons, mother, and insulting them, calling them a dummy and retard because they had learning disabilities, couldn't comprehend what they were doing in school, because maybe medications that block the brain from working properly. Always insinuating there's something wrong and they need medications intending to harm them so they can lose their sexual drives and their human rights of health and fitness and rights to the family, and human control them, just like making them go to work in a chocolate field in India for to make chocolate in the coffee bean industry. Child slavery and making them work too young. Yep. Little brother assaulting them, being told to kick somebody in the face while they're asleep, and insinuating stupid things all the time, stealing money out of their wallet, and other things off the counter that are vast amounts of money, like $3,000 plus. Fabrication of information, psychological warfare, playing mind games, and intending to harm your children. You're older, they're younger. You're responsible for your actions being older. You want to assault them, you're being the child abuser, not your kids. They're not the ones pushing, slamming you, stealing money out of your pocket. They might ask you for $50. That's not an assault or an insult or a robbery. They're asking you. They're not waiting till your wallet's on the table or your purse and sticking their hand in there and taking your money out of it. They ain't going to your bank account and trying to withdraw money either on your Interac card, because they know your Interac card, not coming into your house, breaking your stuff, causing you financial harm, and stealing money out of your change purse or your safe or anywhere in your room, or taking your TV to the pawn shop and selling it. Your kids aren't causing you financial harm in any way, asking you for anything, because you're ahead of the game, you're making more money for them. You want to insinuate they need to be on meds so their life's harmed, you're harming them. It's called family violence. If Rosemary, you went to school, you went to boarding school and college and around the world, and your parents paid for you for that and did the same thing for your two other sisters out in New Zealand, then you should do the same for Blair and Tara and make sure they have a better future than working minimum wage and starving to death and having nothing in life too, because you're so rich and famous in your life, being a Strachan and part or the McRae family of New Zealand and a descent of Scottish descent as well, according to your big book you had. And you're so worldly famous for being this descent and maybe being part of the royal family, you kind of say. Your dad died, you got some inheritance and inherited it and invested it. Didn't want to help Mr. Bame, my dad, the old fart of DNA, with the house or any expenses. You didn't want to work. You didn't start working at Zeller's till 1996 or something like that, and that's the first time you ever worked. Before that, you were always cancer treatment, stuck on morphine or whatnot. That's why you're so skinny as a rake back then. You had a freezer full, a big one by 6 to 8 feet by 2.5 feet, 4 foot high, and a small one full of food all the time and cupboard stocked all the time. Always buying food. He did a pretty good damn job. We should have a Men's International Day for people who work so hard for their families and their wives don't do anything but to insinuate and cause them harm sometimes, right? Well, hypothetically, all my girlfriends, hey, loved them to pieces while I was with them, thought they were going to go somewhere. Game psychologically premeditated. Who knows? They committed adultery or we lost interest in each other and went our different ways. That's all I can say. We're all growing up, young people, trying to survive in life, not making enough money to pay bills and whatnot. Saw greener pastures. Wish you all the best for ex-girlfriends. And if you want to say hi, say hi. I may have sent you something goofy to say, yep, I told you family violence or child abuse, and my parents are a bunch of retards. Every single one of you. Because they're quite ignorant in their mannerism towards their children. Kicking them out at 12 or 13 years old is child abuse, already determined. They're supposed to pay their social services if they're stuck on it. It's a guaranteed child abuse. Neglecting them, like I said, and playing psychological games. You want to physically harm your kid by putting drugs in their foods as well, or getting some doctor to do this by your false news and accusations or statements to a doctor or a judge or to the police department in misleading justice. Old buddies in life, like I said to Mike Johnson, don't worry about it when I was living on the street. That's when I was in Victoria. Or psychological abuse, 1999, being slapped in the face by my mother. And everywhere I went was Camel Weinstein with my niece in Vancouver, Victoria, and lookalikes of other people in cars in Vancouver and Nanaimo. And what a stupid game, and other people in international airports as well after getting off an airplane. Giving you a finger from the Comox Valley. Well, I've done nothing wrong. My family has neglected me and assaulted me psychologically, and that's the way it works. Financially, never found a good enough job or had a decent enough education to do so. I tried my very hardest. It's not my fault that you wanted to run somebody off a job or a city because you didn't like them, your racist discrimination, and cause them psychological harm so they don't want to work anymore. That's right. You intent to harm somebody, you misled them that you had a job and wanted to train them, and then ran them. You have a 3-month period to lay them off. Do it properly, not 2 or 3 years afterwards. Apprenticeship programs don't pay enough. You're starving to death. Fair wage is $26 an hour. Living wage, just like 6 months of training out of the military, the RCMP. You get $500 a week for training. Just like going to university. Should be the same. To have criminology and addictions, to become a police officer, correctional officer, and a bunch of other stuff at the University of Saskatchewan or Saskatoon, or what I call it. Or psychiatry to become a social worker, administration or public administration, kinesiology and sports studies to become a rec director or physical education teacher and be a professional trainer, not a CanFit Pro, which is a weekend course and doesn't give you anything in life other than to sit there, man a phone, and have people come in and out like Juan Velasco because you're not a professional fitness instructor. You're no different than the guy working at McDonald's or the guy folding clothes at Walmart because you're not a professional. You don't have a degree for 6 years saying everything about kinesiology and basic physiotherapy on sports training. No professional sports person would pick you up as a fitness instructor ever. Where's your nutritional thing from Dietitian Canada and so forth? I've sent family violence out to people. I've sent this nutritional thing out. I've sent this educational thing out to family and friends and others on my views of life. Do these people have these courses to do the following courses in life? You want to assault somebody? You're going to pay. I wish never to talk to my family in person, really, again, because they have always stole money and assaulted me in some different ways and caused me bodily harm. When I was 16 and had my deviated septum, I came back and had black eyes and sat or laid down on a sofa for almost a week. Did they give me a lobotomy at the same time? And then I was assaulted by the RCMP/government and the doctors against human rights, laws, and ethics. Over-medicated and can't live my life anymore. It's trifling effect. Unlawful causing bodily harm by intent with a lethal weapon, just like shooting somebody with a gun. A very violent offense. To be shot with a gun or stabbed with a knife or a sword, or kicked in the face on the ground to cause psychological, physical harm so they cannot live their lives anymore. Yeah. And then have parents say you need medications because they listen to this stuff and then say their own thing. Sociopaths. You say you love somebody and then you turn around and you don't love them because you're trying to harm them psychologically, physically, and neglecting them. You really care about somebody, then you should have showed care and showed them a better future. Yeah, nobody in life, Mr. Bame, anything in life. And Rosemary, I blame everything on everybody. I didn't ask for one thing out there when I was out there in 95 to 97 at all. You want to insinuate something and tend to harm somebody, you're the only retard, let's say, or dumb fuck that intended to harm somebody by asking them to come out there, and you had it all acted out and premeditated from people acting at Pizza Hut to different scenarios that went on. What's real and what's not from all the friends I know and don't. Well, I'll talk to my friends still. They haven't really harmed me in any way. Family, all being ignorant at the things they say. Being called steroider from the RCMP and never done them probably. That's right. Now I have to be on hormones because I don't have enough testosterone in my body, and it's AIDS like my body can't heal. You can watch my Vegas side effects, men's health side effects, and so forth. My human rights, laws, and ethics have all been violated if I can't have the right to my DNA family between me and my girlfriend, right to health, to be able to run and do all my physical activities I had to before, the right to self-defense, to be able to protect myself, hormones that protect your body for healing and other things like that for health and wellness that protect your brain and body as well. Financial abuse and all that. You can look it up all yourselves and Google it and read it. It's all in my statements already on my YouTube station that you're watching right now. Don't need these family members with me anymore that financially harmed me, stole money, said they'd pay it back, and never did. I owe you nothing for keeping my keep below the age of 19, Mom or Dad. You owe me for the money you stole from me, and it's about $120,000 with interest now, I guess. And goes for Shane Lai, too, for stealing and lying. I've never harmed you. I didn't kick you in the face and bust your nose and cause a $3,000 surgery ever. I haven't had anything in life like you have. Total discrimination between Ross and Shane in our family. You have a great day. Department of Justice, CSIS, RCMP, doctors, lawyers, friends, and family. Enjoy this video and all the information you can find on all those websites. I'm not psychologically deranged. I ain't a sociopath. I ain't schizophrenic. I'm a man that's been psychologically and physically assaulted. Why people go postal by Billy the Kid for over 16 years and never had a fair go at life. Only racial discrimination as I see it as a white man in Canada. where freedom is supposed to be number one, and that's the reason why everybody loves Canada. But being assaulted by foreigners, being mom, stepmom, dad, stepdad, and so forth. Why? I don't know why you did it. You have a great day.